If you enjoy long, slow burn Great Lakes history and unexplained stories like this, make sure you're locked in and subscribed now. The Paulding Lights. There's a stretch of road in Michigan's Upper Peninsula where people pull over at night, shut off their engines, and wait. No attraction signs, no fence, no gift shop. Just darkness, trees, and a single expectation. Because if you wait long enough, something usually appears. A light. It floats, it moves, it splits, it disappears. And no one agrees on what it is. This is the story of the Paulding Light. It's one of Michigan's most famous unexplained phenomena, but it's also one of the most misunderstood. Depending on who you ask, the Paulding Light is a ghost lantern, a railroad worker searching for his lost train, a trick of headlights, swamp gas, or something we still don't have a clean answer for. What makes it unsettling isn't just that people see it, it's how long they've been seeing it, and how consistently it behaves. The Paulding Light appears near the town of Paulding, Michigan, deep in Ontonagon County. This is remote country forests, hills, wetlands, and long stretches of road where nothing happens for miles, the kind of place where darkness feels heavier than usual. The viewing area sits near the end of a dirt road, once called Old US 45, now simply a dead end. From there, people look out over a low valley framed by trees and ridges. And at night, sometimes, a light appears. Witnesses describe it as a glowing orb or lantern, often white, sometimes yellow, sometimes red or green. It hovers just above the tree line, moving slowly side to side, sometimes approaching, sometimes retreating. It doesn't behave like a star. It doesn't behave like an aircraft. And it doesn't behave like headlights in a way that satisfies everyone who sees it. The earliest written reports of the Paulding Light go back to the early 1900s. That's important. This isn't a modern internet myth. People were talking about it long before cars were common in the region, long before highways or cell phones or viral videos. One of the most common legends ties the light to a railroad worker. According to the story, a brakeman or signalman was killed while working the railway that once ran through the area. Some versions say he was crushed between cars. Others say he was struck while trying to stop an oncoming train. After his death, the story goes, a light began appearing, his lantern still signaling trains that no longer come. It's a familiar ghost story structure. Occupational death. A tool left behind. A spirit repeating its final task. And it sticks, because railroads really did run through this area in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Logging lines, freight routes, temporary tracks laid down and ripped up as the timber industry moved. But here's the problem. The known rail lines don't line up perfectly with where the light appears, and no historical record confirms a specific accident that matches the legend. That doesn't kill the story. Folklore rarely works that way, but it complicates it. Another version claims the light is the ghost of a Native American killed in the area, or a spirit tied to older land disturbances. These versions tend to be less specific and often emerge later, layered onto the legend as interest in the light grows. What's consistent across nearly every account is behavior. The light doesn't just turn on and off, it moves with intention. Witnesses report that it bobs, drifts, splits into multiple lights, merges back into one, or suddenly vanishes when approached. Some say when they walk toward it, it retreats. Others say it grows brighter as cars turn off their engines. Some swear it reacts to people appearing only after someone acknowledges it. Skeptics have tried to explain it for decades. The most popular explanation is headlights. Specifically, headlights from cars traveling on distant highways several miles away, refracted through layers of warm and cold air, bent by humidity, temperature inversions, and the geography of the valley. This explanation gained traction in the 1960s and 70s as car traffic increased and roads expanded. In 2010, a group of Michigan Tech students conducted an experiment. They coordinated cars on distant roads, turning headlights on and off while observers watched from the Paulding Light viewing area. Their conclusion: many sightings could be replicated using vehicle headlights. That should have been the end of it, but it wasn't. Because even some of the researchers admitted something didn't fully line up. The light sometimes appears when no traffic is present. It changes color in ways headlights typically don't. It splits into multiple lights that move independently. And people had been reporting it before cars existed in the region. If it were purely headlights, the phenomenon should have intensified dramatically with modern traffic, but reports remain oddly consistent over time. Then there's swamp gas. Methane ignition is a classic explanation for mysterious lights. Organic decay releases gases that can combust, producing flickering lights near the ground. But swamp gas doesn't move uphill. It doesn't hover at consistent heights. And it doesn't appear repeatedly in the same controlled location for over a century. Another explanation involves piezoelectric effects, light generated by stress in certain rock formations, but again, that doesn't fully explain the motion, color changes, or responsiveness. And so the Paulding Light sits in an uncomfortable middle space, too consistent to dismiss, too inconsistent to easily explain. Eyewitness accounts range from casual curiosity to genuine fear. Some visitors describe it as peaceful, almost playful. Others report feeling watched, uneasy, or suddenly overwhelmed by the silence. There are stories of the light appearing closer than usual, low enough to illuminate the ground beneath it. A few claim it followed their car as they left. Those accounts are impossible to verify, but they keep showing up. And that's the thing. No single explanation satisfies everyone. Believers point to the age of the phenomenon and its behavior. Skeptics point to physics, geography, and human perception. But neither side has fully closed the case. What makes the Paulding Light different from many haunted locations is that it doesn't rely on a building, a grave, or a single tragic event. It's just there. Night after night, year after year. No admission fee, no performance schedule, no guarantee. Sometimes you'll wait for hours and see nothing. Sometimes it appears within minutes. And sometimes, when you're absolutely sure it won't show up, it does. People keep coming back. Locals bring friends from out of town. College students make the drive. Paranormal investigators set up cameras and leave with footage that raises more questions than answers. And the forest doesn't care. The land doesn't react. The light appears, moves, disappears, as if it always has. And maybe that's the most unsettling part. Not that the Paulding Light exists, but that it doesn't need an explanation to continue. If you've ever seen the Paulding Light yourself, or if you've heard stories passed down from family or locals, leave a comment. Not theories, experiences. These stories matter, because this phenomenon has always lived in shared memory more than records. And if you want more long-form deep dives into the Great Lakes' strangest places, the ones that don't fit neatly in ghost stories or science textbooks, make sure you're subscribed, because it is full of places and stories like this, and not all of them want to be explained.